Christina Kantzavelos is a San Diego-based gluten-free and autoimmune disease-friendly travel and lifestyle blogger. She's a licensed psychotherapist. Uh-oh. So look at my brain. And she's a professional content writer, and we're so happy to have her join us on today's Big Blend Radio Food, Wine, and Travel Show with the International Food, Wine, Travel Writers Association. And she's joining us to share tips for those of us with celiac disease, food allergies, and food sensitivities. I know all about it, Nancy. We got that problem when we travel, so very excited to chat with her. Her article is going to be featured in the fall issue of Big Blend Radio and TV magazine, but you don't have to wait. You can go to blendradioandtv.com and you'll see it there. Just type in Christina or food sensitivities, you'll find it. And you should also go to her blog. It's awesome. She has been to over 30 countries. She loves national parks and parks like we do. buencamino.com. Now, I want to make sure that I did any of this language correct. Christina, welcome to the show. How are you?
Great. I'm very excited to be here, and you did a wonderful job with your pronunciations.
Okay, because it went from Greek to Spanish, so, in one paragraph.
Hey, it's an international show, right?
That's exactly it. So, Buen Camino, what does that mean? And we should spell it out for everyone, huh?
Sure. So, the technical spelling for Buen Camino is B-U-E-N, Buen Camino, C-A-M-I-N-O, right? That's Spanish. However, when I created my blog, that was taken. So I replaced the C with the Q, so it's Q-A-M-I-N-O. And Buen Camino means to wish someone a good path, again, in Spanish. And I picked that up while on a pilgrimage called the Camino de Santiago. It's a 500-mile pilgrimage you walk across Spain, starting on the eastern side of the Pyrenees in France, Saint-Jean-Pied-de-la-Porte, and then walking across the Pyrenees onto the western side of Spain, ending up in Santiago de Compostela in Galicia. So you are wished a buen camino throughout the pilgrimage by people you pass. And I just fell in love with that saying, and I adopted it.
I love that. That. We're big walkers, Nancy and I. That's our, besides wine to keep our minds, calm and steady, we love to walk. It's part of our ritual in the morning. We like to wake up. Today, as we're talking, we're in Yuma, Arizona, in the Colorado River. We wake up in the morning to catch the sunrise over the river. And to me, that's the way to start your day. There's something like starting a good path with your day by seeing the sunrise on a footpath somewhere, is important. And reading your blog, it seems that you're also very heavy. And one of your tips is also about meditation. And I feel like walking is meditation. Do you feel that?
Definitely. There is such thing as walking meditation. There's so many different forms, and it's really what works for you, what calms you down, what makes you mindful, what brings you back or to that present moment.
So what's got you started in the world of travel and then travel writing?
So while on that Camino de Santiago pilgrimage, I began writing just so that my family and friends and coworkers knew I was still alive. I was blogging every day, or as long as I could find Wi-Fi. You know how difficult that can be at times.
Yep.
And I fell in love with it. I received such great feedback. I had lost touch with writing. I used to write all of the time. And I realized it's just something I wanted to keep doing. I didn't want to stop. So I continued to write about all of my travels. And then it became more niche as I realized how much I was planning around my own food restrictions and intolerances, how much research I was conducting, and how much of that needed to be seen and heard by other people experiencing the same.
And also having those restrictions doesn't mean you have to live a restricted life. You can travel, you can explore, you can do things. And we all have restrictions in some way in life. It could be everybody's got a different thing that's going to get them. You know what I mean? It's like that's just part of that thing of life. And how do you move around it? And it makes you discover new things. I found whenever there's a roadblock, that means you're going to go on a detour and you're going to discover something new. So it's in a way can be a positive. but difficult. When it comes to food, I mean, Nancy, you and I are both allergic to shellfish and fish, and it gets really tricky for us as we travel because you talk about language. I mean, you go to a restaurant, if you have a language barrier, I mean, that to me is probably one of the things that can do you in, is not being able to have good communication.
Oh, definitely. And it's, I'm not here to minimize how scary it can be. There is a lot of fear surrounding, especially depending on what your allergies look like and what your sensitivities are. However, there are ways to go about it, to move forward, to not let it restrict the life you want to lead, essentially.
There are ways.
Well, that hasn't stopped us from doing too much.
I know. We go everywhere. We kind of pack our own little nibbles too. We've learned to pack those in. When you go to all these different countries, you've got 32 countries, how do you communicate with folks? Any tips on that, on how to get around that language barrier? Do you start immersing yourself in the new language? What do you do?
My biggest recommendation actually are allergy cards that are written in the language of where you're going. They're so helpful. It's just not a simple Google translation. Gluten is, like, for example, using gluten as an example, it's different in every country you visit. Like, in Mexico, it's sin gluten or celiaco. But when you go to Argentina, it's sin tac. And tac translates into like trigo, and I can't remember the rest. Trigo means wheat, but it's TACC. So people don't say sin gluten in Argentina; they say sin tac. So when you get these allergy cards, they're specific to the places you're going to, and what how that word translates for them, to them.
Wow, I didn't even know there was such a thing as allergy cards. Really,
Yeah.
I try to stay away from doctors as much as possible, to be honest. So that's part of my whole fear. So I just simply stay away from some foods. I told you I just drink wine now. Not kidding. But some people can't drink wine; they're allergic to it, or they'll get migraine. But the reality is, these kinds of things, belonging as associations, or how do you find out about that kind of thing? How to get cards?
Which one? For the cards? Oh, the cards are online. They're various. I mean, there are so many companies now doing them. If you just were to type in language cards for allergies, there are so many. Some of which are free. Some I think the most they'll cost is about $7 per card, and you print it out and you bring it with you. It's extremely convenient.
Well, it's easier than trying to explain. Like, I know when we say we're allergic to fish, and people automatically say, oh, shellfish. We're like, shellfish and fish. In actual fact, what we're allergic to is actually iodine. And there's a lot of iodine in seafood. So, it's like you have to really say over and over again that nothing can touch our plates that's been anywhere near a fish or a shellfish. But people are so used to people being allergic to shellfish, they are not used to people being allergic to fish.
I just don't want a problem, so I stay away from it all.
Exactly. So we don't go to seafood restaurants at all because we know.
Blame you.
Yeah, there's no. I mean, we just know you're asking for trouble. It only takes one little, like a half-cleaned fork or a cloth or something to swipe on a dish that has something that. So we just like, no.
Yeah, cross-contamination is a real thing. And yeah, you it's like, I'm not going to walk into a bakery ever unless it's a good
that's
bakery.
right. So it's the same,
because it smells a lot better than fish.
In your opinion,
it
right?
Sure,
I don't know.
It sure does. It sure does.
So one thing you talk about also is about
fishy, but it is.
You say do your research before you go there, and I think that's a really big one. Dr. Jackie Ubani is our heart doctor who comes on our shows all the time, and she's a world traveler. She's been to, I can't even count how many countries, and she says anybody's got any kind of health thing at all, and you should just do it anyway, as no matter who you are. If you're going to a different country or a different place, you should look up where the hospital is, like, immediately. And you were talking about this too, that do your research before you go, so that otherwise you could really have a miserable experience. You could get out of your cab and it starts right there, from the airport food. Don't eat the airport food.
Yeah, it starts from I would say weeks before you even leave the preparation. And I walk into any travel situation with the mentality, hope for the best and prepare for the worst. So unlike our non-food restricted counterparts, we do have to go the extra mile. However, that's going to save us a headache, literally, depending on what your sensitivities are in the long run. And, for me, that looks like I research what the cuisine looks like where I'm going. Like, we're going to bring up Mexico as an example. I know that I can do tacos. Like 99.9% of the time, they're going to be good to go because it's a corn tortilla, it's vegetables, and it's meat. There really isn't anything else to it than that. So I know I'm good. So I research the cuisine, and then I go through blogs. There's blogs for everything now. There are such niche blogs, including my own, right? Of blank-free travel in this blank city, city or country. And then in addition, there's oftentimes associations in cities and in countries. So I like to look at those to see what information they have available, if they themselves have any recommendations. And then, like you had mentioned, I also look up hospitals nearby where I am and clinics just in case.
And then you pack things too. You have your emergency kit. Our emergency kit has toilet paper. Yours has more.
Well, toilet paper, wet wipes, and wine.
Yes. And everybody should have a shot of whiskey in there. But you probably can't drink whiskey, or can you?
No, I don't. I don't do any. I actually don't do any alcohol at all. So. It's like I think you had mentioned this earlier. It causes me migraines, even if it's gluten-free. So I live vicariously through you.
Okay, well, we'll take care of it for you. That's our good job.
You.
That's our good deed. We're the
we'll help
Samaritans.
Anybody out that needs it.
We're the good Samaritans of wine. Yeah, but it's true because things can happen. I remember in Mexico, there in Ensenada. We used to live south of that in La Bufadora, and we were in Ensenada and the Pollo place. We always called it the Pollo place, the chicken place. And they make the best moles. Like, I would do anything for this mole again. And it changes all the time. It's not the same. And that's, you just, but the one day we go in, and this was the mole. My throat literally was like, it's gonna close, that was it. And I don't know what's going on, but it was this mole, and the mole was darn good. I didn't just sit there and go, one little taste. I drank that stuff, and my throat was starting to close. And I'm going, why would a sauce, would they put fish in there? Was it maybe? I know that nuts have become a new thing for me, and it's all connected in some way. But right there and then, I probably could have done better if I had like an emergency kit, or like you start to understand your body better and go, okay, this is what's going on. Have an EpiPen or those kinds of things.
Exactly. Were you okay, by the way?
Yeah,
when
it's
that
actually
happened?
you know what? I get like I've been a pain since I was born. Dairy. Nancy had goats so that I could have milk as a kid.
Can't have milk.
She milked goats and did all kinds of things, organic farm, you name it.
Milk chocolate in some sauces like mole is the milk content.
Yeah, and it's about having a little bit and then not having too many little bits in one day. So you could have like a piece of chocolate and be fine. But if I have coffee and then I have a Coke, I'm done.
Yeah,
so it's that thing. But that day, like the breathing thing, the asthma thing, and I've learned, that's what I loved about your meditation. Meditation has taught me how to actually breathe. It's weird. Like you can just calm down and focus on your breath. That is, to me, one of the very first things to go to when something goes wrm. So I was fine.
Oh my gosh, 100%. It's you know, because I'm not used to having reactions, but I've had many. I know that as long as I am breathing and can focus on my breath, I'm alive and I'm okay, and it will get me, you know, let's just say I'm experiencing anaphylaxis, it will get me, I will get wherever I need to go in time. So it's extremely helpful.
You get to say the big A word. We say we can't breathe because the A word, you know, we drink wine. We can't say it. I'm just kidding. But you know, when you can't breathe, there's a paranoia thing. We were at a friend's house once, and she was there. We're having wine, having a little conversation, and showing us her new house. She's like, oh, you know, why don't you stay? Let's have, like, dinner. I'll just throw this lasagna in the oven. Stouffer's lasagna.
Oh, wow.
What would we think, right? Tomato, pasta, mushrooms. Yeah. No seafood. First thing we always say is no seafood.
Yeah.
Nancy ended up on the floor.
Yeah.
And I had an inhaler.
Oh, no.
An inhaler. Oh. And she couldn't breathe. She's like going down. And I'm like, oh, my gosh, this hadn't happened for like years. And all of a sudden it dawned on me, you know, that's what's going on. Use the inhaler. And it's steroids. So, you know, she suddenly could breathe. Turned out it's omega-3 oils. Fish oils that they put in the pasta or the lasagna. Because so whenever you see omega-3, we run.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! I had no idea about that. That's
yeah, I know. It's like
a hidden ingredient.
We're very cautious. We prefer always to bring our own food, make our own food. We don't like potlucks. That's death waiting to happen because people put things in dishes, and like we've learned, like we used to print our magazine in Vegas, and we learned like the buffets, we can't do it. Yeah. Because people will take the salad spoon and fork from one thing and stick it in the fish over there and then put it back in the salad. So buffets are out, potlucks are out, and so we just like, you know what, we'll just bring our own or not go. So we travel really light with our own food.
Well, I was going to say in Vegas, they've become a lot more conscientious of all allergies. If you, for example, go to a buffet and ask to speak with the chef directly and explain what your intolerances or allergies are, oftentimes they will make food for you in the back and bring it to you.
Wow.
So keep that in mind.
So it is about communication when you go. Now, isn't this actually, like, you know, we were talking about this at the beginning, like restrictions can bring some better things sometimes in life. When you do that, that goes hand in hand as being a travel writer. You start to have a conversation and communication. When you start to have this dialogue, now you're starting to learn more about the restaurant. You're starting to learn more about the food and the people. So isn't that kind of a benefit in a way? I know it sounds like it would be annoying, but it's actually a benefit, especially for a travel writer.
Oh, I see a silver lining in all of this. Like, of course, it's a nuisance at times, but through my own restrictions, I have met some amazing chefs. In fact, some I've been in contact with and have been able to feature in articles I've written. So there is a benefit to it all. I love conversation. I love communication. I love dialogue. And that happens organically with these types of things that might be deemed as a nuisance at first. But, hey, they get you what you need and take you to where you need to be. So, yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Awesome. So now you do pack, like you pack when you go. She's a packer. So what are some things that you would recommend people, you know, pack when they travel, especially globally?
You know, and it's so funny. Before all of these food restrictions manifested in my life, I was the lightest packer in the world because I just cannot stand having to check in anything. But again, I've accommodated to that now. So when I do travel, obviously, like we had mentioned, I pack those cards, those language cards. When it comes to like supplements, medications, and toiletries, you know, I always say to bring those on with you. Do not check them in. So bring what you would need, obviously, what any medications you take on a regular basis. Bring extra in case your flight is delayed. And again, don't check it in because God forbid they lose your luggage or it's delayed. And hey, like I have been that person before and I learned my lesson. So I'm emphatic about telling people that. And then with toiletries, like if there is an allergen in any toiletries, like you need to avoid, like whether it's hand sanitizer, lotions, conditioners, shampoos, soap, anything, bring that with you because there is no guarantee the place you're going to will have what you need. So I pack those with me. And then when it comes to depending on where I'm going, how quick the trip is, if I'm going to a big city or I'm somewhere rural, it's really contingent upon that and how much I'll need to bring. For example, we're going on a road trip through Arizona this upcoming weekend. So I'm going to pack quite a bit. But we're also passing through like Phoenix, so I know there's going to be a Whole Foods there where I can grab some things from. So the big ones are like nutrition bars, things that will sustain you in case you can't find food. Nuts, seeds. If you can't do nuts, definitely find seeds. Seed butter, nut butter. Meat sticks, anything like that. And if you're somewhere where the only thing they can do to accommodate for you is like steamed vegetables or rice, I always say to bring small condiments with you. Like if you can do soy, gluten-free soy sauce, sriracha, things to spice it up and make it exciting. Because when I was on the Camino, oftentimes I only had that option of rice, of salads. And back then I didn't have a problem with soy, so I was able to use soy sauce. Gluten-free soy sauce. So yeah, that's what I recommend bringing. And then for those who have celiac disease or have to avoid any cross-contamination, there's toaster bags. And
this is so cool.
Toaster
bags. So these are like little baggies for your bread. This is crazy.
Exactly. Or anything you want to grill or toast, you put it in this bag and it keeps it safe from cross-contamination. And if it is a sandwich you're making, it's pretty great because it keeps everything together. So if you go to like a cafe, you can ask them, can you please, oftentimes they only have one toaster. Can you please use this bag? I cannot let my bread touch that toaster or I will get severely sick.
Do not let my bread touch your buns. Don't touch my buns. But this is what about if you're grilling? Because that's the thing too. You go to a barbecue, like someone's just put fish on. Oh, we'll just scrape it off. I'm like, oh, dude, I'm not eating anything on the grill, man. And I don't really eat meat. And as we travel, I do eat meat, like if you're,
that's all there is.
Or it's like the signature dish of, so then I go, well, there's your, annual meat intake or monthly whatever meat intake, just kind of happens. And, but sometimes they cook fish and meat on the same thing.
Yeah, they do it all the time.
French fries. They cook French fries in the same oil.
Oh, and I can already tell. I can smell the oil and know. I'm like, As you walk in a place, I'm like, nope.
No, so you have to really be careful.
Yeah, you can. It's like my nostrils are always going like, get out, turn around, and we're going to burst into hives just if you stay here.
Yeah, hives suck. But these little baggies, could you take them to a barbecue, or would they like?
Yeah, you could. They're grill, so they're toaster/grill bags. So I mean, they're not that large, but you can, and they're reusable. I don't know if I mentioned that. So you can stuff whatever you need in there and say, hey, please ensure it stays in here. Because like both of you, I have to be wary of grills. I can't generally, like 99% of the time, can't do fryers because they're cross-contaminated. So, yeah, it's one extra step, and it's a very helpful one, I think. And you guys are on the road all the time, so this would be very helpful.
Yeah.
And, if you're staying in Airbnbs or any place that has a kitchen, like once you've cleaned it and made it safe for yourself, you might want to bring, Well, seriously.
Yeah, we're on the same path.
Yep.
It's the same thing. Parchment paper, that kind of helps with any cross-contamination. And bringing your own utensils, that's another option.
Yeah,
we have our own little baggie.
We have our own kitchen box.
We have our kitchen box, and we learned, because we did some vacation rentals in different areas, and we stayed in some luxury la-di-da, you're on the lake, amazing. And then you get in the kitchen, it's like, ew. Even though it looks fancy, you open the cabinets and like, dude, what the heck happened? So now our new thing is we're going to purchase an Instapot, because then you can make your own meals in one pot, and they saute and boil eggs.
Yeah. And
I feel like if we can boil eggs, as a vegetarian, that's as far as I'd really go. Just boil eggs, and you can get anywhere on a boiled egg. That's my thing. Some people have egg allergies.
Take you far.
They will.
Yeah,
they will.
Yeah. Yeah, if you don't have, of course. Those who can't
there
do
are
eggs,
people who are allergic to eggs.
Have you had some?
Definitely.
Yeah, there's a lot of people allergic to eggs. Have you tried an Instapot?
I have not tried an Instapot, and now I'm extremely interested. How large are they?
They're like a mini crock pot. It's like a
okay.
We think you can make a meal for one or two in there.
Yeah, there's a small one, and a park ranger friend of ours, Dana. Hi, Dana. She's been posting all this, and I'm like, well, she knows because she helped us make decisions to even go on the tour in the first place, and so I'm like, well, you know how we are on the tour. She was like, you need one. And you can take them in hotels. And I read some lady's blog that she travels with the Instapot, especially because if you have kids, it's expensive when you go on the road. And it'll go in slow cooker mode, or you can saute something. You can make fancy meals. You can even make French toast with your gluten-free bread in there. Like, seriously. So it's like a mini rice cooker.
Really
and I
clever.
think like $50 is what we're going to get.
Yeah.
That's it. And therefore, we don't have to touch anybody's anything. Like, I don't want to touch it. So off we go. So that's how we're doing.
That's really, really smart. I like that idea. I'm going to add that to my recommendation list.
This is neat. Well, you've got another nifty
clever.
thing. This is cool. Like the toaster bags, I'm like, dude, I have no idea.
I want those.
But this other thing, you got this NEMA. Is that the NEMA?
Oh,
you've got like a sensor.
The NEMA sensor.
Is it like a laser?
That has been. No, it's like a pregnancy test.
Oh.
I'm not even joking. It uses the same technology as a pregnancy test. So it tests for the IgG, for the protein in gluten, and now they have a peanut sensor too, which is great because there are so many people with peanut allergies out there. So you just put a little pea-sized amount of your food into a capsule, then put the capsule into the actual sensor, and within 3 minutes, it will tell you whether or not your food is pregnant with gluten. So
that's cool,
it's the same anxiety as any pregnancy test. Yeah, it is. It's been, like I said, it's been life-changing. And the battery lasts a long time. And if they're not, some people think that they're kind of expensive. I think they're worth the price, and they oftentimes have deals. Like they just had one where they were only $99, which I think is pretty great deal for a tool like that. But if you don't want to purchase it, they have an app. I'm sorry?
I said it's better than the hospital.
Oh, yeah. Oh, 100%. Like, if you're still anytime you have a question mark above your head, well, is this safe? Is it not? You'll know by using it. It just, and I say it does the dirty work for you, literally. You don't have to risk anything. So I've been using that for a while now, and they also have an app, and the app will tell you what people have tested and where, so that you don't have to retest it. Like,
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So that's like eBird. I know that's a bird watching thing, but
TripAdvisor for people with allergies.
I know, it's citizen science, man. That's cool. That's cool.
It is
so
citizen science. So And I'm sure they'll be making one for fish in the future. I'm sure.
I hope so. That would be super cool. Now, what about this food sensitivity test? Because here's the deal, like, things have changed, and then sometimes they go away. Like, I don't know, maybe my body's going through the change. I don't know, but suddenly these nuts over here are fine and these nuts over there aren't. I don't know if it's chemicals. I don't know what. And then, when you go to the doctor, they want to do that really horrible test. You know that test.
And I've done it multiple times. I know the test.
I don't want the test.
So with that test, the test is great if you have extreme allergies. That's what the doctor is testing you for. Now, if you have a sensitivity, it's not going to pick up on that. And if you have delayed reactions, it's really not going to pick up on that. So with food sensitivity tests, I do it every year. They're about $100, and it's worth it for me because your sensitivities change. Like every time I do it, it's funny. Gluten and dairy are always there, but the rest, it's almost different each and every time. I just like to know, so I'm aware of anything I'm sensitive to and to stay away from it. Because
and allergies do change. I said allergies tend to change. It's weird.
Yeah, allergies and intolerances both change. Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, things like Celiac-Disease that's it for life because it's an autoimmune disease. But everything else, I believe there is like a chance of it shifting and changing. Because I know people who are allergic to peanuts as children and aren't now.
Right.
Yeah, see, like I used to eat tuna out of a can. My mom always made tuna sandwiches, and I was fine. Now, as an adult, I can't. And I don't know what happened. Charlie, the tuna fish got bad. I don't know what happened, but now I'm allergic to it. So it's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But you just have to roll with the punches.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really interesting to me, how we change. But we are a body. It's a living, breathing entity.
Well, so far.
So it's, to me, very interesting how it all works. But, so doing this test, I'm interested in doing that because I remember one year I couldn't figure out what I was eating, or was it a chemical thing on, like, clothing, like your detergent, your laundry detergent, or hotel laundry detergent.
Don't get me started on that.
There's
Bounce should quit.
I know,
and be taken off the planet.
Where suddenly hives decided to enter into my world, and excuse me, hives, get out of here. No, we're here, and I'm like, what is this? And I was very fearful that it was wine, so I didn't have wine or anything like that for a while. And the hives said, "Hi, I'm here, and I'm hives to ruin your life." And I'm like, "Well, you suck," but it all of a sudden it went away, and I still don't know what it was.
I do.
And it could be stress, so come in meditation. So
no, here's the thing: depending on if you're traveling and you're using laundromat facilities that are not your own, if somebody put a Bounce dryer sheet in the dryer and even they take that little sheet out with their clothing, you will have a Bounce allergy if you're allergic to Bounce. If you use that dryer and you didn't clean the dryer. Not just the lint, you got to clean the whole thing down. So this is the thing with Bounce. It's probably one of the most vile products ever. And I hope you're listening, Bounce. Please close. Close down.
I actually feel that way about anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's not even just
I'm like
Bounce.
that.
It's most of the detergent companies out there. It's just gross chemicals. I try to use Free and Clear, and that's all I can do. And same with perfumes. I just read something saying that the pollution, like while sitting in traffic, you think that the majority of pollution comes from the cars, correct? Right? You would think that.
Yeah.
Turns out
well, except for Sunday mornings.
Perfumes.
Sunday mornings, everybody leaving church sounds like a cloud of Bounce, man.
Yeah. So is it the perfume? Is perfume worse than cars?
Literally, the perfume, the detergents, anything chemical you're using on yourself is worse than the carbs. Yeah. I just learned about that, and I'm not. I was shocked yet not really surprised. You know, it's anything you use to clean your clothes or perfume you put on is going to get absorbed by your body, and I don't think people realize that. Those are toxins.
Well,
so,
I think that it's all connected, and I think those of us who have food allergies, food sensitivities, that it is also connected to what's going on. We're sensitive. Our bodies are like, hey, this is not good for us, and that's what's going on. You know, there are travel sheets for those of us who are, number one, you know, sometimes we've all checked into those hotels, and you're like, I ain't sleeping on that. It's a travel sheet that you can use in a sleeping bag, and it even has its own pillow holder, and you can use it. Brave Era. We interviewed the manufacturer of this years ago, Nicole, and I was just looking it up as we were talking, and I have it. I have it on the tour with us because sometimes you need it if you are worried or you have sensitivities that are that way. I didn't know we were going to go from food to laundry, but it's true. I think it's all connected.
It's part of it. It's connected. It's huge for those of us too with autoimmune disease traveling. So when I traveled, I brought those sheets as well with me because they also protect you potentially from bed bugs, just so you know. And the other thing I want to mention is I recently went to, and I'm sorry, I'm just going to call them out. I went to the DoubleTree in Orlando, and they have allergy-friendly rooms. So apparently they didn't have one available that night because a lot of these chains have allergy-friendly rooms where they don't use harsh chemicals to clean them. So I went into one of their quote-unquote regular rooms, and they spray perfume through the vents. I had a reaction within 10 minutes. I ended up in the hospital in Orlando. Turns out they did have a room the entire time. Wow, go figure. So just so people are aware, if scents really bother you, check in with the chain hotel to see if they have a room that would accommodate you. And
do it before you get there. And really, you have to be the squeaky wheel. You have to let them know, give them that opportunity to do that because, you know, it's like restaurants. It's actually good to call in advance to make sure they have what you need to be eaten, you know. Like, hey, you know, I want to be served something that's, you know, gluten-free. I remember I went vegan to really detox my body when we first came back to this country because as soon as I got back here, all these food allergies or sensitivities happened. I didn't have them in Africa. The dairy, none of it. None of it. Absolutely nothing.
So only come back here, and here comes all the allergies.
Here it comes. And
Just saying.
And so I just
I have a lot of comments to say.
I wish I had the food sensitivity test. You've informed me so much. I really, really appreciate this. I really have to tell you that because I had no idea. I just get to this point of doing it myself. Like, I don't know, just, you know, I went vegan. I did really good. My body went back to normal. You know, everything was good. You know, none of that bloaty weight that we carry around when you're going through an autoimmune disease. And then I thought, oh, look, here, we could do Morningstar veggie burgers or whatever they were. Sorry, just to call them out. All these little frozen-y things. I thought, oh, that's going to make my life easy, and I could be like my friends and have like a little hamburger thing, but it'll be this. Well, I got really sick. My hair fell out.
Oh, my gosh.
Terrible. I mean, it was terrible. It was like a complete breakdown, and the dentist is who told me, you have an autoimmune disease. You need to go check up what's going on with that. You have your body's fighting something, and that's what it all boiled down to, was eating that stuff that has all these GMOs and whatever and bad things in there. And as soon as I went back completely to whole foods, I was okay.
Yep.
So there it is. It's it's the chemicals, man.
It's 100% the chemicals, and it's so simple to eat whole foods, and you can create many different things just by using whole foods. Really,
and it tastes so much better.
Yeah.
You don't have to get the phony stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get old, dried up stuff, put some seasoning on it so you'll think it's fresh, as opposed to go to a farmer's market, get the fresh stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I love that on your blog. Your blog, you have, these photos going to markets and things, and that's something too. I think that, again, here's that silver lining we were talking about, going to those kinds of events, going into the local grocery store. It's something that some of us travelers forget. Parents do it, but if you're a single traveler, you may not. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
so,
exactly. If you're not really worried or concerned about food, you're often eating out when you're traveling, and you're missing out on this huge local component. That's so, like, grocery stores in foreign countries are always so fascinating to me. And then
they're cool.
Farmers markets are they're cool, they're fun, they're different, they're exciting. And same with farmers markets, and it's really exciting to be lost in translation with those things sometimes.
I know you're looking at it going, what does that mean?
Over fruits and vegetables.
Yeah. You look at things you don't know. I remember buying a chamayo here in this country, and they're in Mexico, these green things.
With the little spiny thing.
Yeah, I had no idea what it was doing. It was like when I first got to this country and made an artichoke, and I ate the wrong part of the artichoke.
She tried to fry an artichoke. It was really funny. I'm looking like, what are you doing?
No.
And she's frying the hairy part on the inside.
Yeah.
And she's frying it, and I'm like, dude, I'm not eating that.
And like, anyway, I had some interesting experiences coming back to my own country. Just, like, what's that? We didn't have all that over. Artichokes weren't a main thing where we were.
No.
We didn't.
In fact, I don't know if we ever even.
I don't even think I saw an artichoke until we got back to the States.
Yeah. I don't think so either.
So it's interesting going around the world. What was the very first country that you went to, traveling out of America, out of North America, I want to say, for you, that just was like, wow, this is a whole different concept. This is life-changing, and I'm in.
To me, personally, I would say South America. That really is like, wow. On one trip, I did Peru, Bolivia, and Ecuador, and I was in love. I love Latin America. Like, that's where my heart is. It's so beautiful. And Peru, gosh, they have really great cuisine, and a lot of it is corn-based. So as long as you don't have any corn intolerances, you're pretty much in heaven as someone who's gluten-free.
Can you eat quinoa?
I know you guys can't. Oh, I can do quinoa. Yep, that's a grain I'm very happy to eat.
One of my favorite meals in the whole world that we've ever had was in Portland in a Peruvian restaurant. And we were there to do a radio show at a flower expo, a garden and flower show thing. And we went with the growers, they're the ones cultivating the plants, and it was really cool, to this restaurant, and this band was playing, and they had the best. It wasn't like a martini. It's awesome, quinoa and avocado with an avocado sauce, and I just remember that habanero martini with passion flower juice, because I love passion fruit. Yeah, passion fruit, not passion flower, but. This meal, it was just one of those memorable things, and I wish you could have you can have photographs and things, but there's certain meals you have in your lifetime that you just have to go back to that sense memory, and then you're like, dude, I can never have that again. That so sucks. Go back. You need to have a new experience, But the Peruvian food, I've always wondered what it was like to go to Peru. I know they eat guinea pig. I don't know if I could do that.
No.
But
I did not eat it. Yeah, that's you see it on the side of the street. It's just not for me. I was not interested.
No
offense to anyone.
Like eating your pet.
Yeah.
I'm guinea pigs as a kid. I'm like, oh no, that's what happened to them.
Gosh.
I know, but it's like it depends on what's the norm and what's taboo in your culture, right? Because they eat in Asia and certain parts of, I believe, like, Eastern Russia, and cats, dogs, so horses. I think we're one of the few countries that don't really eat horses. Yeah. So
I can't
I'm
do
just
the
not
horse thing.
I'm not big on meat personally.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's a whole. It goes into that whole cross-contamination thing too. You never know, but you have really given us so much information, and I know listeners are going to be thankful for it. And we thank you for joining us. We have music for you, but I have a couple questions before you go. One is one of my favorite questions, and I have to ask you this because you like to hike and walk and go into parks. So we have a 1-hour walk Facebook group because it's just to get people out to take a walk. If it's their neighborhood, it's a national park, a downtown, just to go out there and do that. And so I want to ask you, if you could take a 1-hour walk anywhere in the world, no matter where you've been, like, it could be somewhere you've been to or somewhere you've never been, who would you go with? It could be anyone alive or passed on. Who would you take and where would it be?
Ooh, one of my favorite. I have a few. I love hiking so much.
Yeah.
You ladies understand.
Yeah.
One of my favorite hikes is up in Big Sur. Oh gosh, what area is that? Monterey. Oh, I'm trying to think of what it's called. It's along the water, and you just have to drag your jaw with you because it's that spectacular. Like it's where the forest meets the ocean. And
cool. that trips me out every time, man. Oric Beach did that with the redwoods on the beach and elk and berries all in the same place. I couldn't stand it. Elk on the beach eating blackberries.
Like, yes.
And I was like, seriously, dude. So I'm with you on that.
It's like Gold Bluff.
It's like you literally look to one side, you see otter, in the playing in the water, and then you look to the other side, you see deer and fawn, and it's amazing. Oh, Point Lobos State National Reserve. That's what it is.
We've been there. Point Lobos.
Have you been there?
Yes. Years ago. Oh my gosh, I know exactly what you're talking about. And the flowers, the coastal flowers. Seriously. Okay. Who are you walking with?
Just amazing. It'd probably be my brother who passed away in 2007. So I would do anything to just see him, let alone be able to walk with him. Yeah,
that's cool. There's something about walking with people that's magic.
And
that's magic.
I know, and I got to do. I had the privilege of being able to walk the Camino with my mom, and she's one of my favorite. She's my favorite. Hands down travel partner. We have such a blast anywhere we go together, and she loves to walk just as much as I do. And I highly recommend watching The Way if anyone is interested in walking the Camino. It's on Netflix.
Okay. Oh, cool.
You two
would
would especially love it. Yes,
The Way.
It's with Martin Sheen. Yep, and it's Martin Sheen. He actually is.
Oh, cool.
I think he directed the movie. He has walked it many times before, and he fell in love and made this movie. Yeah.
Really?
Cool.
I had no idea we're going to do that tonight.
You are going to be interested in it. Yeah.
We're doing it tonight. We're doing it tonight. What's the Highwaymen? It shows them going off after whatchamacallit, Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah.
Watch that on Netflix. That's cool. But it's got nothing to do with hiking, but a lot of shootouts, that's always fun. But thank you so much for joining us. I'm so glad that you're part of the International Food, Wine, Travel Writers Association. When did you join with them? Because they're such a cool group they network and, go on trips and have all kinds of good stuff going on.
I know. I was able to join them. Was it this year or end of last year? It's within the past year that I joined them, and it's been great. I'm actually I'm headed with them to Palm Springs at the end of this month to do a bus trip, and I'm excited to meet fellow travel writers and hear their stories. I mean, I've never met a boring travel writer, that's for sure, or frankly anyone who's traveled.
Yeah. You're right. Everyone who's traveled, there's stories, and
there's always stories.
Yeah, and it's always about how to, the silver lining is that it's always funny later. It's like no matter
exactly. Exactly.
That's
you can
awesome.
look back and laugh.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
That's true.
I know a lot of the travel writers you're going to meet, and Nancy and I, they're great folks, and some of them we've just met on the air here on Big Blend Radio, but some of them we've met in person and traveled with a little bit, and you're going to have a blast. And Mary Farah's going to be there, and like what we said with her on the last show, she was on Go Find the Naked Bridge when you're there.
Yeah.
People run naked across the Naked Bridge.
I know the Naked Bridge.
You do?
So real quick, if you guys don't know about this, there's something called Atlas Obscura. It's a website, and you put in your zip code, and it tells you the strange things that are nearby. And I use that to plan my trips, like that and restaurants or how I plan my trips. So that is actually listed on Atlas Obscura. It's called the Bridge of Thighs.
That's the Bridge of Thighs.
It's a nudist colony. It's a nudist colony, and actually it used to be lower, and then people were complaining that they were seeing, naked thighs. So they've actually raised the bridge a little bit.
I'm not even going to touch that.
I think it's hilarious.
Because whatever I say is not going to be free.
I know. But hey, just be free. So everybody, again,
whatever floats your boat.
Exactly. Everyone, Christina's article's up on blendradioandtv.com. Type in Christina or food allergies. You'll find her article, and it'll also be featured in our fall issue of Big Blend Radio and TV magazine. But you can also go to her website, buencamino.com, and that's Buen, BUENQAMINO, buencamino.com. And also the International Food, Wine, Travel Writers Association. We do this every second Friday. We have our Food, Wine, Travel show with them, and we love to meet all their different members and hear about their stories and adventures and get travel tips like what Christina has given to us today. But we're also going to, so IFWT, I always get this wrong, ifwtwa.org is the website to go to if you're a travel writer, blogger, or the destination, and join them. They're a cool crew of writers out there. We have a song for you, Christina. It's called Adventure. This is the title track to an album by Elliot Lewis. Elliot Lewis is a singer-songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, and he's a key member of the Daryl Hall and Oates band. John and Oates, Oates and Daryl Hall.
Yeah.
And also one of the original featured musicians on MTV's Alive from Daryl's House. And so he's played with everybody, man. He's awesome. We've had him on the show, and he's like, hey, play my music. Okay. This song goes out to you. It's called Adventure because it's about going out there, no matter what happens, going out and living life. Do not let the restrictions restrict you. So here it is. Adventure.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us. So much fun. Okay.
Cool. Yes.
It might be high, it might be low. I go my time with all